Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
What is going on? Your baby boys are back delivering some Survivor News for Survivor Season 48, Episode 5. I don't want to say I'm super excited because I feel like I've been rewatching the videos and I say that a lot. I am ecstatic to be with the baby boys. I will not introduce him as the first merge boot, but a former host of the Beach Cabana Royale, Wendell, how you feeling?
What's going on?
So, okay. You want to go there before we introduce Jack? Because we could go there. We can divert. We can divert.
No. I asked you what's going on. That's
So
it.
when DZ is being funny, and we can go there because I have a little time. When DZ had a little housewarming, or not a housewarming, a little sorry, pause you, Jack, because now we got to address another beef. So when DZ had a little thing at his house,
I had a boys' night barbecue.
Yeah, and Jack, I wasn't feeling 1,000% myself, just personal things going on. And so, like, I don't want to be the center of attention. I just want to come in and be like, hey, deliver what I have to give. And so when I walked in, I happened to be the center of attention, not any fault of my best friend who was showing me love and like hyping me up. But there's this internal dilemma of like, I'm not feeling great. I don't feel like being like, and then I'm met with Wendell. And so like, I just gave a little, hey, what's going on? And so Wendell always interprets that as like shade, but it really wasn't that. But I can take accountability and I do apologize. So,
Okay.
There we are.
It sounds like that on that first day of school when you're a kid and you're a little nervous. Your mom's like, "Yo, oh my God, Jack, you look so handsome. We gotta take." And you're like, "Mom, stop! You're embarrassing me." That's kind of the
right. Just I just wanted to like slide in and like be invisible for 2.3 seconds. So
that's an interesting side, I guess. So we're only allowed to hear one side of the story. Solid.
No, I mean, are you talking?
Oh, well, we got Jack's take, so I thought that it was over.
No.
That's normally how it goes.
There's a beef that I'm not in. So Wendell, what do you gotta say?
The only thing I'll say is this. Brice decided to mosey in at whatever time he wanted to. Other people let me know that they were running a little late. Joey Hatch pulls in with 3 trays, deviled eggs, potato salad, homemade, all of it by his mom. He rolls up. I have the camera out. I'm like, what up, Hatch? What you got? He's like, oh, I got the deviled eggs. Me and C cooked up some potato salad. I'm like, can't wait to eat it. Tough act to follow. James Jones pulls up with the marinating octopus, with a tomahawk steak, with some ribeye, with some other steak, with some ribs. I'm like, James, what you got? What you got? He's like, something light. I got the ribs. I got the tomahawk. I've been marinating this octopus and all that. I'm like, oh, okay. Tough act to follow. Brandon Cottom pulls up with gigantic oysters that he got from wherever the downtown. And he's like, yeah, I'm a shuck them, and then we're gonna put this custom sauce that I've been making today. Then we're throwing it on a grill. You never had oysters, Wendell, so you could try it. I'm like, oh, okay. So then my best friend pulls up last, not to be outdone. I'm like, Brice Izyah, what up? What up? He walks by me like, hi, puts his head down, walks by me. So I'm like, here I go. I did something wrong again that I don't know about, that I'm not being told about, received. And I just understood the type of time Brice Izyah was on, and I received that. I didn't ask him no more questions. I just kept it moving. Then if you were to check my Instagram last night, it was heavy on the other guys. And then I had a quick clip over Brice's shoulder when he was cooking because I didn't want to bother him or show him that I was recording him. And that was that. So that was the story.
Fair enough.
Oh,
It sounds like
okay.
Brice owns it wasn't his best day.
Yeah,
Now
but
he's
like,
moving
okay, let me
forward.
just be quiet. Okay.
You know.
Yeah. I'm sorry I can't be Brice Izyah all the time. And yeah, but let's welcome back to the podcast Jack Atkins from The Circle season 2, and also the man, the myth, who has a movie that's getting ready to come out. And he posted some dope imagery to his Instagram this week that looks like a blockbuster hit.
Thank you,
Jack,
Brice.
how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Really excited to talk. There's a lot to talk about. This season has been delivering. I think this pre-merge gave us what we needed. And the last 3 weeks, especially, I've been just like ready to talk about so much stuff. I feel like my beef has started to cool off a little bit, so I can come in just mostly focused on Survivor.
Has it?
For the most part. Look, last week was tumultuous, and I got to give a quick shout out to the posse, the Survivor News fans, and especially the Jack Shack. I read all the comments last week. I was feeling nervous, and you guys showed a lot of love. So all jokes aside with the beef, I really appreciate everyone who showed me some love in the comments. Helped me feel, it just made me feel good that I was appreciated and that people understood my side of things. So that picked me back up from, I was on the bottom, but now we're back up. And so shout out to the Jack Shack, and I'm ready to hit this episode and just get into it.
Yeah, well, another thing that's been heating up outside of me and Wendy's beef and your beef, Jack, is the Brice and Wen BWP 48. We took a week off and we are headed to Chicago next week. And listen, when I said I was going to Chicago, my man, not Austin, but Ozzy said, "You going to Chicago without me? We need some updated photos." I said, "Now wait a minute, Ozzy.
What kind of photos?"
I don't even have any britches on. I don't even know what to change. So we will be in Chicago next week. Tickets are, Wendy, do you want to report? Because I feel like Chicago is this close to selling out. And before Wendy even says anything, when I say Wendy, Ozzy coming, Wendy calls me and says, "Hey, can I bring a friend?"
Who's your friend?
Do you need to change your britches in the Wenden?
We in the Wenden don't need to change our britches, but yeah, I got a friend coming too, and that will be a surprise.
Oh, okay. So tickets are available. There are only a slim left. So head to briceandwen.com. After that, we're heading to Austin. And again, I get another phone call from Wendy's. Okay. Because hello? No. Wait, I get another phone call from Wendy's. Hey, how you doing?
Is that
Brice? Also,
the phone?
so time out. Because now we got to go back to the first part of this pod. Because as much as I do want to disagree with Wendell Jack, he sends me a video because he was recording my intro. Now, mind you, I just want to say the video is disgusting. However, in my mind, that's not what I was giving, right? I just wanted to be like a fly on the wall. So Wendy's isn't wrong.
It is what it's not standing in the corner
No, it's like Wendell, oh my God, is that Brice coming up? We got Brice. There go Brice.
And Brice was like,
I was literally like, hi.
Oh.
But
where's James Jones' octopus?
Oh, whoa. That sounded like a lot of the comments that James Jones was giving. But then I get another call, Jack, from Wendy's.
Bring.
Ring. Ring.
Hello. Perp. Is it you that's confirming all these people for Austin? I said, now, wait a minute. What you talking about? Okay. First time in Austin, and I'm not talking Austin. I'm talking Austin.
Oh, my word.
No.
Jack, that one was egregious.
That's crazy.
That one is grounds for termination. Oh my goodness. So
That was quick. That was quick, though. I gotta give it to you.
Wow.
You're always quick when you're in Austin.
Jack. Oh, I gotta change my britches. Texas, that is. Our first time in Austin, Texas, is shaping up to be a grand slam. To be a dugout, okay?
Dugout. Grand Slam was great, and then you went dugout.
He wanted to get even more egregious, more innuendo-y. Austin is going to be one of those special stops.
I
They're
think I'm going
coming
to
out.
be there too. So
You're going to be there, right, Jack?
I got to book my flight, but that's the plan.
All right, they're going to be there.
Let's
So
go.
Austin is looking amazing. You know, after Austin, we still have Philadelphia, we still have Boston, we still have DC, we still have the grand finale that is New York, and we have a new location. I feel like we were talking about it before, but the new location is sexy. It's grown. It's amazing. And if this episode 5 was any indication about how this episode is going to end, you do not want to miss it. Again, head over to briceandwen.com and secure your tickets. Before we get into the episode, I know Jack said he was beef free. I feel like, and I don't want to put any words into your mouth, Jack, but we do got to address from the last episode, Mary came out. She hadn't been sleeping for 72 hours. She threw some glasses on. Her cat was on her lap. Oh,
no.
Her cat was purring. Her cat. No,
Whoa.
like,
Yo.
Because of me? I did that?
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch the video and Jack and Mary had to say, Jack, I never said I overreacted, and you absolutely put words in her mouth. You just want to clear something before we go forward, and just know that Mary's missionaries is listening.
Yeah.
Mercenaries? What are they?
Missionaries.
Mary's missionaries.
Oh, missionaries. Okay.
Yeah, stop. You always you wanted to yeah, you are wrong.
Okay, Mary, listen.
Oh,
up.
Jack, no.
Get him out of here. You got to act fast. You going to get the pod canceled. Jack came out firing already.
Oh my God.
Hey, listen here, man.
Get him out of here.
Jack. We can't, the podcast can't take it.
No, it's clear to me that I think me and Mary's beef is all in good fun now. And if you watch the video, it was clear she was clearly being like not to put words in her mouth. She was having fun with it. She was like overreact or like admit to overreacting. Never overreact. Yes. So I think she was having fun with it. I mean, literally, like I don't think anyone should be taking this seriously. But when I commented,
so now Mary's not serious.
No, nobody else should be taking. When I commented on that situation, I said not to put words in her mouth, which clearly means I'm not directly quoting. I'm just recalling what I remember. So I wasn't putting words. So I was not trying to put words in her mouth.
Are you doubling down? Also, wait, I got to be careful because there was somebody in the comments saying, I'm getting sick of Wendell and Brice cutting Jack off. Now, I was like, now how can Wendell and Brice cut Jack off if Wendell don't speak?
I'm asleep the whole pod, first of all.
I don't feel like you guys cut. I feel like I talk way too much. I don't think you guys cut me off.
38 minutes.
Exactly. Well, I had a lot to say that last episode, but no, look, as far as the last few weeks have gone, this little Mary situation is
now she little. Oh, now she, not this little Mary.
This little
the situation is little, and I'll go on. Put your damn glasses down. Me and Mary honestly about to come beat you guys up. You guys are stirring the pot more than me.
I don't want no smoke with Mary.
Mary ain't about to beat me up, Jack.
Me and
I'm
Mary
Sister
about
Mary
to
Clarence.
about to team up and take over. And put me on the record this episode. Mary was a dog in those challenges. So,
not a female dog? Is that what you are referring to Mary as, Jack? You know what?
What is wrong with you, Brice?
It is, yeah. And do you want to know one of the reasons, Wendell, why Mary was killing it in the challenge this week? Yeah, okay. Mary was going after that ball that looked like Jack Atkins. And let's be clear, I don't want no smoke from Mary because they call me Sister Mary Clarence in the Mary's Missionary. Okay. I serve the homeless. I give to the people. Okay. But no, shout out to Mary. Shout out to Saie. We appreciate them listening. And, you know, sometimes getting our baby boy back. But
and you want to hear something else regarding beef?
Oh.
And it's
but
I might have run into Saie at a function on Friday night, and I think we had a good conversation. So, you know,
tell us more.
Hey, we kind of said we'll save the beef for the podcast, whatever. But we both kind of agreed. You know, we've heard each other are good people, and so it's just not that. It's not that. She said people had told her I was cool, so we'll take it. So I think at this point it's all in good spirited fun. So,
but real quick though, Jack, when you were at said party, were you there and Saie walked in, or you were there and when you walked in you saw Saie?
The latter. When I walked up, I saw a squad of people. I was like, "Oh, it's Saie. I hope I don't get kicked out."
Were you nervous? I want to know, like, what were you thinking when you like?
I was a little nervous because the last I'd heard from Saie, she didn't seem too happy with me, but she was very mature. We gave each other a little back and forth, but we had a good, like, not in a negative way. We just had a good little exchange, and I'm sure we'll both continue to speak our minds on the developments of the season, but I think person to person, we're all good. So no beef with Saie in that sense.
I like that, Jack. And I don't mean to inherit any beef, and I'm not asking for any beef. I'm going to preemptively put my shades on, and Brice, you can do the same.
Okay.
I only had one interaction with Saie.
Oh.
And that was at our event in LA.
Yes.
And when I walk in, and this is why I don't say nothing about Saie, because I don't want no smoke, because the smoke was already hand delivered to me. But I said something like, "What's up, Queen? Welcome to the family." She said, "Wendell, I watched your season," talking about season 40, "and I thought you were a jerk."
Protect that queen. Protect that queen. Okay? Like, yes.
So that was so I keep it cute with Saie. I don't want no smoke. Jack took the smoke. I just wanted to report on that previous smoke. It wasn't smoke because I received it and I kept it moving.
Did she lie?
Wait, but Wendell. But how can she say all that? She wasn't even there. She doesn't know what happened.
It was a figment of my imagination.
Well, that sounds like a smart and talented and well-respected and articulate queen. I'd love to meet somebody like that one day. But okay. And listen, for the Wendell, don't be in the comments, Jack. But Jack, for our comment people, let me wait 19 minutes. Mark, we're going to start the episode. Okay,
Bryce, I do love that we give the people in the comments that, but when you say it when we're already 19 minutes in, it doesn't really help anything.
So we need to start the pod and let them know, hey, at night you need a table of contents.
Put it in the comments.
Well,
and whoever's been doing it in the comments every week, we see
yes.
We appreciate you, because it's kind of a joke, but it's honestly very helpful.
I absolutely do, and we appreciate the Jack Shack that has been in the comments. But listen, we have an episode to get into, a lot of thoughts. I also feel like And I don't want to, toot my own horn, toot. But I feel like I've been saying a lot about a character. And I feel like what I've been saying about this character has been delivering. So.
Wait, throw it down. What? Elaborate.
I'm talking about the Godfather Cedric. I feel like he is this person that no one seems to look at as a threat.
Why has his accent changed so much?
It's been a tough week. And I feel like, to quote a wise man named James Jones, your threat level in the game matters. And because Uncle Saie doesn't perform to a Jack Atkins level of athletics, right?
I've never said that.
It lowers his threat level. However, Uncle Saie is playing the game. And he is making moves, and we see people feel comfortable to come to him and tell him their deep, dark secrets, and hoping that he would entrust it. But Uncle Saie, like, I'm just saying, like, Uncle, I've been saying this the whole time. Uncle Cedric, his arc is interesting. He is been at the bottom a lot. He is what I would call a tribal council OG. He's a doctor. He takes information in and like he delivers. And I just feel like after this episode, I'm sad that the shot that he delivered was hit with my queen. But I'm just saying, like, Saie ain't playing. And I really feel like this episode makes me look at Saie like Saie a killer. And if Saie gets to the end, boy, oh boy, does he have a dissertation to deliver. That's all I'm saying.
Good dissertation use right there. I gotta say, Brice.
Thank you, Jack.
That's a ball.
So Brice, he's getting a lot of he's earning a lot of stripes early in the game. That's what you're saying.
But not like it. He is, but they aren't like the typical big survivor move games. Like it's like he's surviving. He took a shot at Saie twice, and then when it came down to it, he kept her. He's like working. He's built clearly, and again, we can talk about it when we talk about it. Clearly, he's building bonds with Chrissy. Like I'm just saying, like he's a silent killer. Like
killer.
I put Luigi, that guy from New York, on the city.
I
put Luigi and Cedric in the same category because I'm just saying, like, it isolated incidents, you don't take a lot of it, but you put all that together in his dissertation. That's all I'm saying.
I'm happy to jump into this whole vote out because there's a lot. It's something I feel like it's a situation we haven't really seen a lot of before, and there's a lot to unpack. And I think there's three perspectives we should unpack, which is Cedric's, Bianca's, and Chrissy's. But I like that we start with Cedric because he's the pivotal decision maker here. I don't know. It's really interesting because I think that I've seen online that Cedric has apparently been like the least popular player on the season. I don't really get it. Like I like Cedric as a guy. Like he's clearly just a great, authentic guy. Obviously, sometimes his gameplay, I won't even say it's just a little all over the place. Not necessarily
it's his game.
What's up?
His game is his game.
Yeah. And there's like not all of his decision making makes sense, but there hasn't been anything like
you.
I think not to me, just the general, like you look online, a lot of people are like, what is Cedric thinking? So
I'm West Coast.
This is both. And that's not me co-signing that either. I mean, obviously I disagree with his handling of the Justin vote out a little bit, but I think there's a lot I think people had a lot to say about this vote out, but I think there's a lot to unpack, and I feel like there's a lot of reasons why it was a good move by Cedric. But I guess the baseline of it is, do you think Cedric flipping this vote on Bianca was a good move for Cedric?
I say yes, although because we see Saie talking to Bianca, we see Saie like not the happiest with the Cedric, right? And because he essentially has shown Saie that like, hey, you're disposable, essentially, right? And so Saie receiving that is like, why do I continue to work with him? Why? But also from Cedric's perspective, like, who are you closer with? Saie. Bianca bringing that information to you, and you keeping a Bianca over a Saie. Whether Saie doesn't really agree with you, I still feel like there has to be something like, wow, like I'm still here because of a Saie. Also, but take Saie out of it. I think for me, the bigger move was him to get Chrissy like in on it. And seeing the Chrissy vote really said a lot to me that I was like, okay, Seti's working his magic, right? Like he's doing the slow and end game. We see Cedric working with a Mitch. Like I just feel like Cedric is that unassuming threat that's like, hey, I'm here, I'm a number. But really, it's like he's in a position of power, or when he's put into a position of power, he makes bold moves. And so whether he wins or not, I'm just saying, like, I think what he has done thus far is pretty impressive, considering respectfully, when we first seen him, he couldn't get up the wall. And so like, I say that to say that like normal tribes will use that as a point of weakness to say we got to get the weak out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he's been able to, some would say he got up the wall of his tribe. And but I'm just saying I find it impressive because I'll be honest, when I first saw Uncle Said, I was like, I don't know. Like, you know, but I feel like every week on this podcast, I'm bigging up Said. So I just feel like there's a lot to Uncle Said.
Wendell, what do you think?
I am curious as to what the conversations looked like. His conversation specifically with Chrissy, and what the pitch was, and was it a simple, hey, she doesn't have a vote, let's get her and let the other people do what they're doing? Like, Cedric was in a position because his vote he could have gone with Saie, he could have gone with Chrissy against Bianca, he could have gone what? I guess Mitch was voting for, was it Saie? Yeah, so he had all the power and he knew where all the votes were going. So he could have picked any of those three off, or those four off. Those three off. And the question is, what makes him decide to go for Bianca as opposed to these other things? Now, if you have a Saie and a Mitch was going for Saie. Saie was going for Chrissy.
Yes.
Right. So now it's like you make a bond with Chrissy. So Saie should still be mad. Saie should be, if she was mad at Cedric for voting for her, now she's mad at Mitch for voting for her. So he could still kind of nurture that, I guess, and say that he saved her twice now. But from my perspective, Saie is the kind of person, according to her confessionals, she's not 100 was said. Like, she's not locked in with him, although it looks like he likes that bond, right? Like, it's like he thinks that because he did save her that they're good, right?
I don't know, because we clearly see Saie voting for Chrissy, and I would imagine she would only be voting for Chrissy if she thought she had a Said. So this again could be another deception by Cedric to her. Yeah,
so I think that Saie could be the downfall of Cedric's game. I think she would be willing to go against him at her first opportunity.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, yeah, so that's what I got right now.
So, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I think on paper, I'm not mad at Cedric for this. Like, look, if he thinks Saie is his number one and he potentially has a better bond with Chrissy than with a Bianca, then maybe moving forward that group on paper, just as people that you're close with, is good, and he sees this opportunity to get rid of Bianca and facilitates it successfully. The couple issues that I have with it are, obviously, Chrissy, I'd say, seems like a pretty genuine, like, open book, and so I feel like what she says is kind of what she's going to do. And so, but I think when he flips his vote to Bianca, he now leaves a world open where Chrissy and Mitch can just vote for Saie, and then Saie goes home. So there's a chance you just throw your vote away. Now, I'm guessing he had a conversation with Chrissy that seems like, I feel like Chrissy kind of, like I said, tells it how it is. She was probably like, I'm down to, and then whatever. I think the bigger issue here is that I kind of agree with Wendell. I think that this putting his eggs, like, Bianca has just lost her number one. She's coming to Cedric with a lot of information, seeming like she really wants to work with Cedric. And Cedric decides to put his eggs in the Saie, Chrissy, and then maybe Mitch. We don't really know if Mitch was clued in on this or not. Because maybe he knew and this was like a split vote, or maybe he didn't know and he just voted Saie. I just worry for Cedric that, to be honest, that the Saie, Chrissy, whatever group going into a merge is not the group that you're going to be able to really fire on all cylinders with, right? I think were he to take out a Saie, maybe now you have a good relationship with Bianca and with Chrissy and with Mitch, and you're unified to some extent. I think that could open up options a little bit more for Cedric going forward. And so I understand him seeing, if he views Saie as his number one, you don't have to just vote Saie, like make a move like he did, but
we don't
I
know
just
that.
don't know if Saie should be his number one.
So we don't know if Saie's his number one. I also look at it from a perspective of, we saw Chrissy say to us, the viewers, like, before I got on this beach in this new tribe, Mitch wasn't talking to me at all. But we saw Chrissy saying, hey, I'm willing to put my differences aside with Mitch to move forward, right? So there's one thing. Also, we saw Chrissy was very leery of Bianca because of her connections to that very, 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 very strong tribe. So I also think Cedric looking at, wow, if Bianca's number one and Thomas went home, then that weakens that already strong tribe. Does it not make it even more sense to let's weaken them even more with getting rid of Bianca? Because we know that if we would got together, they'd be a voting block. And so I think on that front, it's a very smart move for
Thomas
Cedric.
is already gone now, so they wouldn't really be a voting block.
But and so if with Thomas gone, now Bianca is gone. So now that cuts in more deep. That kind of like, right.
That's
so I'm
true.
saying it opens his options up to say, hey, Saie, I've saved you twice. Are you working with me? But now it opens him up to a Chrissy. And I feel like we know Chrissy hasn't really been working with Mitch. We know that him and Mitch have a great relationship. He's shared with Mitch about his stuttering. They've bonded over that. So it's like, I'm saying that, like, I feel like the Bianca move might have put him in a position where it's like, if we merge, I now have a Saie. I now have a Mary. I now have a Chrissy. Whoever Chrissy got over there, I got like it.
Look, I know what you mean, because if Cedric really looks at this group and thinks Bianca's the person that I'm least close to, then I think it's really valid for him to say, let me target Bianca, obviously. I think the issue is, and maybe this isn't even something he can factor in or control at the time, but I just worry going into a merge where his people are like Saie,
he only has two. Like, he only has two. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I just think there's a world, knowing that Bianca seemed to want to work with him. If you can unify with Bianca and with Mitch and with Chrissy and just have a unanimous vote and have like a voting block going into the merge, I think he'd maybe be in a little bit better shape than if now he's with Saie and Chrissy and Mitch, but it's like maybe Mitch didn't even know about this vote, so maybe they're really not close. Maybe Saie didn't really know about this vote, and then so she still doesn't really trust Cedric. I also don't think like that Saie and Chrissy are gonna be like the best people to be tied to at this merge. Like, they don't seem to have a lot of footing with the general group, and so I feel like Bianca of this tribe might actually be the best person to partner up with going into a merge. And then you can maybe hitch your wagon to the Log Eat squad and target the Sivas. But again, I don't think this. I totally see where Cedric was coming from. So I don't think this is by any means like a blatantly bad move. I do think like I don't know. I think there's a lot of like it could work out and it might not. Like,
is there a world where Ced receives this information from Bianca, and in his head he's like, maybe she's trying to play me. Maybe she does have a vote, and she's trying to manipulate my vote any which way or towards Saie right now.
Because I think that in that case, he would know that him and Chrissy voting for her might not work because if she had a vote,
that would tie things up, right?
Potentially, but then I guess on the revote, it would be
Bianca and Saie.
Well, yeah, I guess Cedric and it would have to be Cedric and Saie that would vote, or no. It would depend how the votes shake out, I guess, because it would be probably 2 Bianca and 2 Saie.
Yeah,
but then don't we think that Chrissy and I guess Ced and Chrissy could just revote Bianca, but
Ced again. I think y'all are missing a point, and maybe this is already overstated. Cedric is in this pivotal position. He's telling Saie, I know where we vote in Chrissy. He's telling Mitch, we vote in Saie. Like, and so in order for this plan to work, Saie has to tell Mitch, I'm voting Saie. Ced has to tell Saie, I'm voting Chrissy, so that they essentially wash their vote at him. So it's like, again,
he executed it really for sure. But it's just the question. I'm not questioning that. The question is whether it's the move he should have done, But it's the first like 2 to 1 vote. I think other than like the final 4 or whatever. But
Brice, if you're Ced, what's your best? Who do you vote out? What's your best play?
So this is where I feel like Ced's move is great, right? Sure, I'm sure it probably makes Mitch a little mad. We already know Saie's going to be pissed off, but like it doesn't shut the door on any of them, right? And although I love Bianca was a queen, she's robbed in this situation. It doesn't completely close the door from him not working with them or them not working with him, right? It's
if he keeps Bianca though, who is he shutting the door on? Nobody.
He would be shutting the door on
whoever's going home.
Well.
Bye. Don't let the door hit you.
His torch would be it. I feel like him. What was the question?
Like who in his shoes? Because I don't think we're questioning that he had the control here and executed it well. But I guess we're asking like, if you're him, who do you actually think you should have voted out? And the answer could be Bianca, but it could be somebody else.
I don't know, because it's again, if he goes with them and votes out Saie, then regardless of, we know Saie and his relationship is complicated, but at the end of the day, when it all falls down, I'm only singing Selena Johnson's part, but like at the end of the day, I feel like if he needed to count on Saie, he could, but
I don't know.
I don't know either, right? Because it's a lot, but also I do just want to take this time to say that, can we give a shout out to the baby boy Mitch? Because when I was watching this episode and when I allegedly got cussed out by Mitch, when he said, I would have thought my 3-point shot from 2 courts away with my eyes closed and on 1 foot would deserve a mention on the podcast, but maybe not. Mitch has been cooking. Mitch has been cooking. I just have to say, I was sitting next to James Jones at Wendell's house yesterday, and at this point in time in the evening, Jack, my demeanor, I was opened up. I was talking. I had a rough little moment. Okay.
Hey,
whatever.
And what did James Jones say?
So James was like, Mitch don't. Okay, also James is a little annoying. Okay, James is like, Mitch don't miss. Mitch don't miss. And mind you, of course, every time they are showing Mitch, he's like, whoosh, and James is like, Mitch, right in my ear, like literally right in my ear. But mind you, like, Mitch don't miss. And like, I was like, oh my God, he's right. Then when we got to the challenge of the boat, and it's Chrissy, Saie, and Ced holding on to the side of the boat, and Mitch is the only one pulling the boat. Like, I was like, wow, Mitch, like, maybe there was so much else going on, but I just want to like tip my hat off to Mitchy boy, because he really is the full package, right? Like he is conniving in the best way of working with people, not like, you know what I mean? Like you with them or you against them. That's how I like it. Also, he has the charisma. He is shooting. He's athletic. Like people get along with him. He has a story. He's interesting. So I just want to give a little shout out to the baby boy Mitch, because he really has been killing it. And if my ear is still ringing, Mitch doesn't miss.
Yeah, we don't want no smoke with Mitch either, because I was listening to the Know-It-Alls, and apparently he has commented on them in the Fishy Awards. So he said, do y'all want to hear it?
Tell me. Also, shout out to the Know-It-Alls. Who is Phil's co-host?
No, that's the specialist. That's the survivor specialist. The Know-It-Alls is Rob and Steven.
My bad.
Shout out to them both. And to Mitch. Hey, I'll let the record show. I said Mitch was on his Kobe Bryant for several episodes. So,
okay. Well,
but so
now that we know,
I like how we hit Brice with a question, and he was like, I don't really know, but you know what? Shout out to Mitch.
What was the question you hit me with? No, I answered the question.
It was about like who Cedric should have voted out, but it's valid. Like there's no good answer for that.
Yeah.
Am I laggy?
No, you're not.
Yeah, you're good.
But so now that we're talking through this tribal,
wait, time out. Respectfully, no pause to Jack. I'm not cutting Jack off. Wait, what was Mitch saying?
Oh, you wanted to hear the Know-It-All smoke.
Hold on, wait, time out. But Jack, is that okay if we proceed?
Can we please?
It sounds like me and Mitch got beef with all the same people. So
we'll put a pin in it and we'll revisit that question just so that we.
No, I want to hear.
You better take control, Wendeezy.
You know what I did today? Since y'all said I fell asleep last pod, it happens to be like almost 7 p.m. right now, but your boy is.
Wow.
It looks half watered down though. Like I literally saw the water. Hold it back up. It looks half ice, and that's the nastiest. Yuck. Can you see the water, Jack?
Listen,
I got the same thing going on. So. I mean, that's what happens when you have an iced coffee, you know? Like
you got to get to the bottom at some point.
Say something.
Oh man.
What did Mitch say?
Okay. So I think that Mitch had smoke for the Know-It-Alls, essentially saying that the Fishy Award
this little fishy
goes to like the best loser or something. I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth because all right, you know what? I'll get ready. I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. But when I was listening to the Know-It-Alls this morning, I think that essentially what they were saying was that Mitch came at them because a fishy is given to someone. Mitch is out here looking like Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Mitch is Mitch Curry. You know, he didn't get a fishy, but you give it to someone that goes to tribal and makes a move at tribal. It's like, yo, he said the fishies are going to the biggest loser.
Well, so I agree with Mitch, but I mean, to be fair, like the tribal is the place where you can showcase some strategic gameplay and really your social abilities coming to fruition. So it's hard to judge. I mean, Mitch has been doing well, but it's hard to judge when someone hasn't really gone to tribal. Like just because we see like a couple of scenes of them at camp getting along with people, that's usually not fishy worthy.
Are you coming for Mitch right now?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I'm
Mitch,
agreeing.
Jack Atkins.
I've had Mitch's back more than anyone.
Jack Atkins.
I've had Mitch's back more than anyone.
And Mitch,
and he should know I'm not going to be the first one to
Get
rush
him.
to defend the
Mitch,
know-it-all.
I'll give you his number, and I want you to
Y'all
cuss him
gotta
out
relax.
like you
Y'all
cussing
are
me
so,
out.
you guys are such instigators. You guys are such instigators. No, like
But-
Mitch is right that it is going to the people that are losing, but it's going to the people that are losing because they're the ones that have just the opportunity to do more.
Two things can be true though, right? Like a
Exactly.
lot could be happening at camp that like you could be dodging and connecting and making moves, but it is a 90-minute show, and the pinnacle of the episode sometimes hinges on tribal council. So like that, those sometimes, like, you know, so I get that.
Well, it's
but
no, it's just hard to be like, okay, fishy for the person who's just like getting along with people at camp for the 2 scenes that we see versus whoever's like dictating the vote. Like usually the person that dictates the vote is gonna be the one that gets the look. I'm a Steven
listen,
Fishback,
Mitch,
here, so
on Survivor News, we have the Britchers Award. Okay.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask, what is our version?
whoever
That was
makes
good.
Brice have to change his britchers wins his old pair.
Yeah.
Who gets Brice's britchers?
These Britchers this week go to Mitchell Ball from LaMelo Ball, you know, because Mitch has been killing it challenge-wise, and shout out to Mitchell. Okay, that's my new affectionate name for Mitch. Because he has really been killing it.
Called the Brice's Britchers. Is that's what it
The
is?
Britchers.
The Britcher Award. Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, like Rob C and Steven, I don't think are giving it to the biggest athletes. You know, they're analyzing the gameplay a little bit more, and that's just taking place more at the tribal, not necessarily. You know, I'm not even trying to dig myself. I've been a Mitch fan since day one, so I'm with Mitch. Mitch and I have beef with all the same people. So
child.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Can we talk Eva and Joe in this whole moment that happened during the immunity challenge, which I also thought was a great immunity challenge, and kudos to Survivor or the producers for making everybody have to complete the pinball. I absolutely love that because I feel like it's one of those equalizers where it's like you could have somebody super, super athletic, and then like you'll have to have somebody like a Jack on your shack that has to complete it at the end, and they might struggle with it. So I feel like it's like a complete equalizer.
The hell did I do?
But I
like that. I did like that.
Can we I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please, if you're talking, go ahead.
Because there was one note that I had, and it was and this could kind of get us into the moment, but it was when Saie was doing the challenge, and her and Jeff were yapping a little. And when Jeff was like something to the effect of like, Saie can feel the pressure or something like that. And
she's like, I don't feel no pressure, Jeff.
No pressure, right?
Jeff, you're loud and wrong.
Jack,
why would you start this again? I wasn't going there, Jack.
Wait, that's not even a dig. That's in the line of what she was saying to Jeff.
It doesn't necessarily have to be wrong. Maybe she didn't feel no pressure.
She was chilling.
I didn't say she was wrong. I'm saying you're telling her she's saying to Jeff to chill out.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? That was you guys are everything I say. You guys are trying to interpret it as beef, and it's not even. It's all good fun.
You're a beef restaurant.
Right.
That wasn't a chirp at Saie at all.
Now, if anybody should have beef, now if I'm doing the thing and Jeff and I go, I don't feel no pressure. And Jeffrey claps back. Well, you should. I'm dropping. Hold on, I'm dropping. Wait,
square up, Jeff.
Right. Hold on. Hey, narrate me, Wendell.
Brice really feeling the pressure.
I feels no pressure.
Well, you should.
Throw your setup, Jeff. Throw it up. Like, because Jeff, like,
he's clapping back.
This not on fire. Like, you on the scene.
Like, aren't you neutral? So my thing is this. What I wanted to go to with this interaction, because Then Saie swaps out, or at least according to the edit, it looks like Saie swaps out. And then at the end of the game, it's between her and Eva. And ultimately, Eva finishes before Saie. So it's like, when you're talking back to Jeff, like, it's great. Like, I have a good time talking to Jeff. And when it happens
He's so
and
annoying,
you
man.
lose, that's going in the show. FYI. Like, if you're yapping to Jeff and you don't complete the task, which happened with me, that is going to air for sure. So,
Wendell, do you have Jeff's number?
yes.
You see how he tried to like insert that in without inserting? I have a good time when I talk to Jeff. Okay, yes, we know you text Jeff. Bro. No, because I know Wendell. I know.
That is a reach.
No,
Nice. Isaiah,
no,
you are reaching.
no.
I said when you're talking to Jeff, literally in a
And
challenge.
you said I have a good time talking with Jeff.
Like in the challenge.
Yeah, but no, but like that's not what he meant though. Like I just know.
Fair enough.
I'm literally talking about talking trash in a challenge. Now, okay.
Hey Jeff.
Anyway, okay.
It's Wendell.
Well,
You still
the
my
only
number.
thing I wanted to say, I was comparing myself
Who
to
this?
Saie.
It's Wendell Holland.
I drank coffee today so I could talk, but you know what? Clearly, I don't have my place on this podcast because I need to go back to going to take my naps on the pod.
No. Keep going.
Okay, I'll
Sorry.
keep going. Thank you, Jack. I'm appreciated by somebody.
You don't want to clip your nails?
You know what I was doing? I was lotioning my calves just now. Okay,
Also,
that's what I was doing.
this is off the wall. But Jack, do you know what's under like what we can't see? Wendell has this weird foot massager thing. Like, why do he?
Right? You keep the feet. Yo, listen
Thank
here.
you, Jack.
No wonder
thank
you
you,
get
Jack.
tired on some of the podcast. You're doing a massage. You're putting
No.
on. You do your bedtime routine.
And I got
on the
numerous kinds of lotions.
No,
I got that.
whoa,
I got.
whoa.
this is
Wait,
the,
what is that? I'm sorry. What's
this
in
is
your
a
hand?
cuticle oil.
What's in your What's in that hand?
Okay, so we have Ultimate Strength hand salve. This is by Kiehl's.
Classic Wendell.
Classic Wendell. We're
have
not
both-
jerking Jack's chicken to death.
Don't bring me into this.
These lotions and moisturizer are not for any of that stuff. Okay,
Why are they hand empty?
because we've done your 500 podcast. You know what? You know what? I'm trying to put y'all on the game to let y'all know.
Yeah, you know what? Man, I got. Come on now.
Wait, Jack, don't.
What
don't
you got,
wait,
Jack? What you
wait,
got?
what are you
If
about to
pull out
there?
that?
We got.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Whoa!
keep your lip. My lips get
What
chapped.
brand is that, Jack? Whoa! I
It's
still
just-
on
it's
Jack.
just
Hey, come on,
Walgreens.
Jack.
Jack, open it up.
Wendell, you just showed 37 different lotions.
Nah,
I'm
Jack.
being
I
honest.
need to see.
Open
What
the
brand?
top. Let us.
Oh! He's digging deep.
It's not even that. It's right there.
Oh, Jack.
It's right here.
Jack, Jack,
How are y'all gonna
it's-
give me?
Now, Wendell, wait a minute. Wendell, open it up. Open it up.
You can see through that. Well, that's the bottom. What do you?
All right,
mean?
what about this one? What about this one?
And you got two of them. That's more suspect
I
than
have
me having
10 of
one.
them. You'll find another one of these right there. I have a Vaseline container everywhere I sit.
Wait, so
because-
how am I catching smoke for having my one? Y'all, this is what I mean when you guys find any reason to give me shit. I got the most Vaseline on deck, gently used. And you guys are going through it like,
What is
What is
happening?
going on?
but don't get me started. We got some shea butter in the party. And
Oh my
with
God,
shea
let me
butter-
see that. Let me see that, Jack. Can somebody please clip that? Please, possibly.
for radiant skin.
Not to be outdone,
Whoa. Oh.
Whew.
Is that what they use in the Wen Den?
What in the jerk chicken is going on?
I don't know how we got here. We
Y'all
must
are
have taken a tangent.
disgusting.
So Eva and Joe. I mean, what a moment.
That is a hard segue. Yeah. So
Saie gets beat by Eva,
Mm.
despite the yapping with Jeff.
And with
Eva,
Jack.
Eva is having an episode and trying to lock in and complete this. It was difficult for her during the challenge, so they skipped her. They let the other people complete it, and now she's trying to lock in and complete it while having an episode.
So I think it's a little different. I don't think she had the episode just yet. She was struggling and, struggling, pushing through. It is when she won and she was filled with like so many emotions that she was so excited that she then had an episode.
Agreed.
And it was emotional and tough to watch, right? Because like as we're watching this episode, we're like, us as the viewers, we know what's going on with Eva. Like we know like how she says it's hard to control a lot of different things. And so we know that she could be struggling. We see Joe on the other side looking like he ready to just run over there, but he's controlling himself. And then it's like when we see Eva win, right? It's like it's a win for all of us. Like we are just like so excited. Like she pushed through, she did it. And again, it's the show Survivor. It's not just a show. It's really, you can do anything, right? And if Eva is not proof of that, I don't know what is. And so Eva gets so emotional that she starts to have an episode. And one thing that I do just want to point out, Star was consoling her, right? Like Star stepped up and like they don't, up until this point, they don't have the best relationship. But like we see Star being like, hey, I'm a human. Like clearly, I'm not sure what's happening, but like immediately you see Star kind of like trying to embrace her. And we see it kind of gets to a point and Jeff says, hey, Joe, do you want to go over there and hug Eva? And this is kind of interesting. I'm sure to everyone that is watching, like what's happening. But in that moment, just seeing Joe just be the big brother, the father, like the protector, the
rock
of like comfort to Eva in that moment was.
And it even seemed like he had all the right language at the moment too. Like he was telling her to like come down, I got you, breathe. It just seemed like he was so locked into bringing her back down at that moment. I was like, man, there couldn't be a more perfect person on the island to do that. And like you said, Star was hugging her, her tribe was hugging her. I think was Charity hugging her also. Like I think I saw people like they were around her. But when Joe did it, because she knows that he knows,
Yeah,
he had this ability to really bring her down.
Yeah, and I'm sure when everyone else, especially when they don't know, some is hugging her, like maybe that was a little bit overstimulating too, in a way. So
Yeah.
having Joe, that one-on-one connection, I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, Joe is just like the man. Like I'm writing Joe in for president 2028. It was a beautiful.
I'm changing my britches now because like I'm just saying, like, no, really, just that like leadership, that connection. And for me, it was in that moment, it was like he was like, F everybody else. Like, what do you need? Like, want me to squeeze your hands again? Like, we're locked in. Like, do what you need to do. Be like that.
Yeah.
When we were sitting there on the sofa watching, it was the fellas. Me, Brice, Brandon Cottom, Joey Hatch, James Jones. I look over, Brice is crying, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to like withhold it because I'm like, man, I'm getting a little misty. But then on the rewatch today, I like started crying watching it straight up. This real human connection where this man is really like protecting caring for this younger woman as if she was like a family member of his. He's really like helping her down.
I don't even see like a younger woman, right? Like I just see a person in need that he has a connection with. And it's just like, if I don't know. For me, I don't have kids. I have a turtle. But in that moment, the closest thing that I could ever relate to is that a couple of years ago, I don't want to get too personal, but like, my mom was driving and like there was an incident where it's just like stroke something, and she pulled over to the side of the road, and like people just knew something wasn't wrong. And someone got out of the car and sat with my mom, and the ambulance came, and like, and it's just like in those moments, you want someone in your absence to be there. And just seeing Joe do that. And I know like we're playing Survivors for $1 million. People would do anything for $1 million. And it's like, despite all of that, he showed up as just a human like that. Whew, it really does something to you. And it's just like, there are really, this world, especially today, is a horrible, disgusting place. And sometimes if you watch the news, if you watch everything that's going on, it can really depress you and it really can sadden you. But to know that there are really good people out there, it really is heartwarming. And for Joe to step up, for Eva to be so vulnerable, and we know people that sometimes we're different in different ways, and sometimes we don't like to share things. And if you don't share things with people, could you imagine if like Eva just was like, I'm gonna do this on my own, and didn't share any of that with like what that situation will look like then and there? But like to be able to see someone like a Joe, like, yeah, it really it says a lot. And
so, I mean, it was definitely a moment that I feel like was bigger than the game, but to put it in a game perspective, not the Survivor fan in me, are we worried that this is just such a visible connection? How do we think that might impact their game? And I know that's a conversation that's different than just the beauty of it all, but I couldn't help when I was watching to be like, this is just the most visible display of an unbreakable bond. Where if I'm like a Mitch, I'd be like, damn, like I don't even know these two yet, and they're so close. It makes me nervous. I mean, now, and not that they should have held back, because it was clearly like what they needed in the moment. And sometimes a connection like that is worth more than $1 million. But like, I'm wondering, as they proceed and as they head into a merge, how do they navigate being such an obvious duo?
That is going to be on everyone's radar. First, it's going to be on everyone's radar. I thought, I'm like, this is Survivor. Y'all are players, so that's on everyone's radar as like probably a super high threat duo. Yeah. But then we get back and Star like gives her idol. And like my question is like, wait a minute, is this a thing where this whole group was now changed and now they want to see this pair or at least Eva succeed? I don't know. Like
that's kind of what I was thinking, but I'm glad that you brought up Star, because I want to Jackery, I need to know your opinion on this, right? Because again, Star has had a tough go at tribe life, right? Like she's been on the outs. We see she got this calculator. She can't put the numbers in right. And so she tells the tribe, because like she like, shit, I can't get it. And again, another win for Eva. Also, Eva relays to Star that that moment was, sometimes laughter is like my remedy for everything. And so I really enjoyed when Eva was like divulging to Star, like, hey, this, I didn't want to tell you this. And Star like, girl, I knew. Like it like reminded me of like me coming out to Wendeezy. After I met Wendeezy for a couple of times, I was just like, I know you want to be my best friend, but I just want you to know I'm a homosexual. And like Wendell was shocked, but like I liked that moment, and I liked them like having that moment. But I want to give Star some flowers here because obviously, well, first of all, I want to disagree with. Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I know we off of the heels of Eva having a moment that transcends Survivor, but the second she would have opened that idol, I'd have been like, "Thank you much." Okay, like just thank you, thanks, sis.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, boo. But I think in that moment, I think Stars does something that is super smart and super strategic. And I want to talk to the smartest Survivor player that has yet to play that I know, Jack. In this moment, with everyone on Stars Tribe knowing that she has the idol, even Eva has the idol. Eva tried to corner her, was like, "Hey, if you were to find the idol and it looked like a round thing, do you have it?" Star like, "No, I don't have it." But clearly Star knows, everyone knows. And so I think this was a very smart move of Star to gift the idol to Eva for two reasons. James Jones, I didn't have the opportunity to talk to him this week because he was sitting right next to me. But when people know what you have, it becomes a threat, right? Like it raises your threat level. So if everyone knows that you potentially have this idol and we don't know when it's unlocked, if it gets unlocked and you bestow it on someone like a Eva, right? Like one that's just like, oh, it looks great. It empowers Eva. But I really think it takes the threat off of Star a lot. And in a moment, I'm just from a Survivor game standpoint with a moment of Eva having something like that, like having the episode like that and so emotional and so real. Let's be real. If you're sitting at the end with her, what does that look like, right? Would you want to sit at the end with her? And Star giving her that idol in front of everybody, I feel like it just lights the fire under Eve threat level a little more, but it doesn't do it in such an obvious way.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love this episode from Star. Like as beautiful as the Joe and Eva moment was, I almost felt the most strongly about how compassionate and empathetic Star was. I just like it was a different approach of her. It was almost like you're at the restaurant and the last cookies on the platter, and Star's like, you can have it. Like it's an idol though. But I just think Star won a lot of favor with a lot of people this episode. Like not only the viewers, but obviously the people on her tribe. Like you said, it also puts a little bit of a target on Eva going forward. And I think Eva was so excited and got Star's vote back, which is important going into the merge. And, I was on the same page with you. As soon as that puppy gets open, I'm going to be like, all right, let me get that back. But it was clear that Eva was like so proud of herself. And I feel like Eva almost seemed to be thinking like, I did it. Like, this is like, I know Eva wasn't assuming it was hers, but it had that energy. So for Star to be like, all right, let me get that back. Like that would have been awkward and maybe put her in the bad view of some people, even though totally was hers. But I just think Star is right now in a position, and also Tom's going home. That might be who Star was the closest to. And so Star is like in need of some new allies. And I think her taking on this really like mellow, a friendly, just chill approach heading to the merge is going to help her buy some time and make some new connections and have wiggle room. But I just love Star. Like I think she was so authentic, especially this episode and how she received everything. It felt just like she has that element of strategy, but this all felt really like authentic and real and human too. And I think if Star keeps that approach going forward, we can see a big turnaround from Star.
Sometimes it takes a little bit for you to get your footing, and then you're around people a little longer. The tribes switch up a little bit more. You're starting to feel like you get a little more comfortable. And I think we're seeing Star begin to find her foot.
People too.
Yeah. And we met Star in New York at the Survivor 48 event where Jeff was there. Star's dynamic. Star, like, first of all, like, also, Star ain't know who I was. Like, I was like, me and Wendell was sitting right next to each other, and I was like, "Hey, Star." She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Wendell, oh my God. And so I was like, okay, that's all right. It's all right. But then after that, Star was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I introduced myself, and Star's personality is magnetic. We are sitting front row, like Star, her partner, me, Jeff, Saie, Pooh, and we watching the episode.
Who else was on the front row? Wendell and Wendy.
Oh, my baby, Wendy was there, and also he was at his best behavior because he was with his Uncle Brice, and also, oh my God, oh, okay, sorry. The podcast could take a pause for a second. Wendell, do you want to talk about the monumental milestone your son had this week?
Oh, wow. This is crazy because as a father, when your son starts calling you dad or daddy, it's like unreal, right? So like over these last couple months, like when he started like calling me dad and daddy a little more, and it hits me every time, and every single time it just hits me, right? And when I'd bring my homies around, I'd be like, "Hey, Wendy, go give this to Auntie Lauren, give this to Uncle Joey, give this to Noni, my mom. Go bring this water to Uncle Brice." And he'll bring it to the people, right? But he won't say their names. So this weekend, we were up in Wendy's room, and Brice was playing with Wendy, and I was doing something.
Tire me the hell out. Okay, let's put that out there.
Brice decides to take on these tasks that are like physically tolling. Like we're playing in the work at the home gym, and I have a big planter that is filled with like basketballs and stuff in the gym for Wendy to use. Brice will take Wendy, put him in the planter, lift him up, and run him around my basement. It's like, bro, you're gonna exhaust yourself, and then Wendy's not gonna stop wanting you to do that. Anyway,
had to hide it. Okay, it got to a point.
They're in Wendy's room, and Brice is doing something ridiculous. Wendy looks up at him and says, "Uncle Brice."
Let's go.
But out of nowhere, though, right? Like, it also was like he wanted me to give him a ball back, and like I was like, "Okay, Uncle Brice is tapped out.
Give me that, Uncle Brice."
Yes, and it's like, oh my God,
That's really cool.
I was shocked, and I didn't want to like beat because first of all, he could say, "Oh," and I'm like, "Did he say Uncle Brice?" And so, like, Wendell was there, and Wendell was like, "Did he just?" And he looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he looking at me, and I'm looking at him. So, okay.
Beautiful. That's a great. I love that.
The cameras. I'm gonna have to get the cameras.
Wait. You got cameras?
Yeah, I got cameras. What were you doing in Wendy's room?
Hey. You be seeing when I be going in your refrigerator when you out of town.
Absolutely. Yes. In
Are
the
you
kitchen,
serious?
in the basement, in Wendy's room, out back by the garage.
On the having people over, Brice?
No, but when to go out of town, he be having a lot of waters and juices. So I grocery shop. Wait, are you being serious?
Yes, fool. You know what? I'm gonna check. I'm gonna invoice you for that, but I'm gonna find the video of Wendy saying your name and our reaction, because I think it's just. You
have a video of it.
That's kind of
yeah.
Oh, let's go.
But also, again, when he was there, his father was there. Like, and I'm just cutting up with Star. So it's like I know that Star has that in her, but also I just want to just point out that, like, yes, Eva has autism, right? But she's still a player in the game. And I just also want to point out this fun fact, which I'm like, okay, I'm with you. At what point in time when Eva unlocked it, was she trying to give it back? Okay, Eva, I see you, and I ain't mad. Okay, Star like, you can have it. Eva like, bitch, this mine. Sis. Like, this mine. Like, that's what I was saying though. Like, at what point in time did you see Eva trying to give it back? Right? Like, let's be clear. Eva's playing, right? And so I just wanted to point that out, that
so foul.
She locked in, And she like Eva.
He was really comfortable with that.
Right. So I just, Eva's still locked in. Anything else? Oh, I also wanted to talk about Saie. Because it was interesting when Mary was celebrating and Saie wasn't happy, or just like kind of spoke her piece. Like that was where it was like, oh my God, like I wish I could be more like Saie at times, right? Because that's such a real emotion though. Like I wasn't mad at Saie saying that at all. Cause it's like, I feel like sometimes I feel like that. However, I'm just like, I'm not going to say anything. I'll just be awkward and just like.
Well, I don't disagree with what Saie was saying. Like but I think like Mitch said, you could have an opinion and keep it to yourself, especially in the game of Survivor. Like, was Saie necessarily wrong? Maybe not, but like broadcasting that to the other 15 people left in the game is a bad move. Like it, and I hope I don't get heat for that. But
No.
Based on what we saw from everybody else reacting to it, it seems like it was not the best display.
I felt like it was an honest thing, and it's like I'm with you, girl. But this is where I was talking to Wendell about this earlier in that specific moment, and we saw what Mitch had to say. We saw what Chrissy had to say, and they're so quick to vote her out. But I feel like I'm from the Jack Atkins school of Survivor, and it's like I feel like if I were to be in that situation and given like, hey, I know Saie gonna say what she say. Is that not like more of a reason for you to maybe be like, you know what? Let me say something to you, Saie. Come over here. Because like, if you keep a person like that around that speaks their mind openly, that will maybe like bother other people, doesn't that kind of like put a shield in front of you? Like that's, for me, that's where I'm just like, I get it would bother people, but for me and the way that I think of Survivor now it's like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna let it bother me, but like, I want to work with you.
It's kind of both. Like it's sort of in a way it's a shield, but it's also maybe deters people from wanting to work with you or be associated with you and your squad. It kind of reminds me of like Survivor 45 when Kelly was really tight with Bruce. And some people in that season didn't really want to work with Bruce. And Kelly was like, okay, in a way he's a shield for me, but also like if I keep working with him, it's gonna put a target on me too. And so I know what you mean though, Brice, but I don't like, yeah, you gotta tread lightly.
I had a question about that deep moment also when you're ready to pivot off of this this part.
The Eva Joe moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also, before we get into that, like later on, we got a lot more to talk about too, I think. So I just want to set the table for that. But Wendell, yeah.
This is a quick one. This is a real quick one. And I just want to know, how do we feel about Jeff's nudge of Joe?
So there's been a lot of online talk about that. I've seen like Kobe Archer from like, so I've seen a lot of takes on it, right? I don't know.
What did Kobe Archer have to say?
So Kobe Archer kind of felt like he said he was 70% with what happened, but he also felt like it seemed like a little
contrived, manufactured,
production motivated, and that like, you know, Jeff's telling Joe to go over there, and just like, so things like that, where I get that. And then also, I guess at the moment, Jeff then like offering Eva the floor to speak instead, like, you know, just like situations where I feel like so much happened that it's like you have to say something. I
think I'm glad that you said all that, because that kind of got me thinking, Brice. Like, Jeff is the executive producer and the head of everything, and he's the show, like he's the head of everything. And without that, we might not have had these two magical moments, the moment of them embracing and her telling her story in front of everyone. So it's like, yeah, Jeff, you are nudging him and almost forcing this moment, but like, this is your show, and hey, maybe with a nudge, yes, and yes, with a nudge, this magic moment happened, and she was able to tell her story to this cast and to America. And so I think a couple things could be true in that it's like, like, man, maybe that's maybe Jeff, I don't even want to call it overstepping, but maybe Jeff is doing something that might affect their games. Yeah. But also it's like this moment, this huge moment might have required that nudge. And I'm thankful for that nudge.
And again, I'm just seeing what I saw off of Reddit and Twitter. And some people have been saying like there have been other moments that could have used the nudge that didn't receive a nudge. And so I think that that's where the criticism, and again, that I'm just reading and
Yeah, I want to
seeing
hear it.
what,
Yeah.
right. So I get that, right? And I get people's like criticism of that. But I also just say that like it's a show. They make errors, and like, as it grows, they try to do better, I would say, right? Like, but it does kind of like there is a bit of that gray area. And I do appreciate even us for talking about it, because like we don't want to diminish anybody's moment, but like also being authentic to our feelings and like saying like, yeah, it does seem a little, but also it is a real moment.
I have two takes about it. And first is kind of to what you're saying about people online being like, well, these other moments could have used a nudge. I'm always of the mindset, whether it's Survivor or if it's real life, just because a mistake has occurred in the past doesn't mean that you should behave better and fix it going forward, right? Like you can't be like, oh, back in season 2, they didn't do that. Like, but if it's the right thing to do now, then it's the right thing to do now. And I feel like also Jeff is pretty perceptive. I feel like maybe it was edited in this way, but we can kind of tell that maybe Eva wanted Joe and Joe wanted to go comfort Eva. So it's not like Joe was like, I barely know her. Like, and then Jeff was like, Joe, get over there. We know how close you are with Eva. Joe was like itching to get over there. And so I think it's okay for Jeff to allow them that opportunity and ask like, Joe, do you want to go over there? He's like, yeah, I do. So it's not like he called Joe out just randomly and was, so I think it was nice. Like, I don't have any issue with it. And I also don't feel like Joe or Eva weren't going to take that opportunity to like exchange information, which I think is the concern about letting the tribes intermingle. I mean, I think they knew it was bigger than that. And I don't think Joe would be like, you all right? Oh, by the way, Kyle and Camilla, like they hatched up this, like he wasn't going to do that. So I liked it to your guys' point.
Yeah.
And Jeff got emotional.
Yeah.
And like Jeff has like you said, Jack, if you make a mistake in the past and you learn or whatever, there's always the right moment to kind of do the right thing or to correct or whatever you can. So like if this opportunity presents itself now, hey, like allow for that.
Yeah, don't keep doing the wrong thing because you've been doing the wrong thing. And that applies to everything,
Men too.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Generally, yeah.
Another emotional and strong moment was over on Camilla, Kyle, Joe, and Shaheen. Also, real quick, first of all, I've been looking at Joe for a while, and I didn't know why I kept looking at Joe. I mean, he would be a zaddy. But I mean, I know Joe was my cousin, okay? I thought it was just as equally powerful hearing about Camilla's family story, about hearing about Joe's identity, about hearing about Shaheen's family story. Like for me, I'm like, this is what I want 90 minutes for, right? And again, here's another moment where I'm just busting out crying, where we know that after this tribe got back, Camilla and Kaya are like, we don't know. Shaheen and Joe are like, what's up? Then they share these moments, and then they like, yo, we locked in. It's us four. Like, this is it. This is it. Now, mind you, I'm no mathematician, But I'm like, at this moment, I'm getting emotional and I'm loving it. And I love the fact that, like, you know, sometimes your struggle, you can bond with people, you have that relationship. But I'm also like, well, if y'all lose today, one of y'all,
Yeah, but
one of y'all go home.
But yeah, they share this moment. They're locked in with each other, and that was when they walked in the challenge, like with the serious faces on too, right? Like they're saying they're locked in, but if they continue this ruse that, like, you know, that bad tribal and they don't like each other, so they walk in locked in, and yeah, this 4 is a scary 4.
Yes.
I was gonna say, mark my words, this 4 is gonna do damage.
This
If all 4 of them don't at least make like the top like 8 or 9, I think they're all. I think the winner is probably gonna come from this 4. I think this is a really strong, especially you look at the other 2 groups, they're a little bit scrambled up, right? Like this 4, I think, is going to be able to handle a Saie and Chrissy, and they're going to be able to handle like the Charity Eva Star David dynamic is not. Those 4 are not sticking together. So this group is going to do damage.
The question is, yeah, I agree. It's like this 4, but the question is, like, are the ties that they have outside of this 4 stronger than this 4? And I would almost say yes, but you take this group and the right person takes this group and whatever their other thing is, and at the right moment, they go in whichever direction they need to go.
Yeah. The thing is, I do like this 4. Obviously, there's a couple connections, but I'm thinking we get to the merge and this 4 pulls in an Eva, and they pull in maybe a Mitch and a David and maybe like a Chrissy, and then Charity's going to be in trouble. Saie and Saie are going to be in trouble. I think they're really going to be able to control this, at least the beginning of the merge, I feel like.
Yeah.
But you're right, because at what point with Joe in this 4 is he like, well, I gotta go over with, I'm locked in, and then you know,
they could blindside him. They could, like, you
well,
know,
exactly. But
and that right. So, and that might be a move that, like, he might not even be necessarily mad at, or it's something a move that he could maybe understand. Like, there's no way I'm voting her out. So, like, if y'all were to do something like this, you would have to pull the wool over my eyes. But also, let's not count Eva out as well, because I feel like she might face the same pressure, and we don't know what would happen. I do want to ask, we are episode 5, we're midway. Any speculation? Can I have 3 winner picks from y'all from what we have seen thus far? And if you need me to go first, I'll go first. Sure. Okay.
Hold on. Let me think.
Let me get mine in, so I'm not locked in, but so I'm not influenced.
I know this is a snake draft, Jack, and you're in the middle.
Wait a minute. We're snake. Oh! I thought you were just asking for 3. I didn't know we were doing.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, who you got, Jack?
Well, I want to.
Well, do you want me to say mine, or you
No,
want?
can we think for a second?
I want to lock mine in, so I'm not like adjusting based on what you guys are saying.
I'm using time to my advantage.
Well, you've had 4 episodes.
Relax yourself over there.
Because I think this is a great point in which, like, you know, we could talk about the people that we see. Because I have, in my opinion,
I have mine. I think
Jack is locked in.
I'm close. I have 2 out of 3. I got 2 out of 3.
Classic Wendell.
Okay, I got it. I want to go first.
No, I already said I was going first. I called first, but go ahead, go first. Well, no, Jack, who should go first?
I don't care.
Okay, I got Mitch, Shaheen, and Camilla.
Oh, okay. Jack, would you like to go next?
No, you can go next, Brice.
Oh, thank you, Jack. You're such a courteous, young, sweet man. I have Mary, Saie, and Camilla.
Similar. Mine, in this order, I'm going Camilla, Kyle, and Mary. But I do think that Camilla, Kyle is, if I were a betting man, betting on one of those two, pretty high on my list. And then after that, I think there's a few people. What's up? Yup. The Guyanese duo. And then Mary, I think, is a dark horse. I like where Shaheen's at as well.
I like where he's at as well. I also, again, I'll throw another little dart at the board. I'm a little shocked at David's edit, right? I don't think it was the edit that I thought. There's a world where, like, he'd make Final Four.
I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna at least get to the middle of the marriage. I want to. Now, sorry to pivot. I feel like one of the biggest things of this episode we haven't even touched on at all, and I know we're an hour and a half in, and we could keep going, but I want to make sure we get there. Is this Bianca situation? We haven't. She's facing a dilemma, and not that it's that big of a thing, but to bring it back, she lost her vote on that same journey that Justin did, and so I sort of maintain that was frustrating. But to look at this, this episode and her decisions and how she played it, I think there's a ton to unpack. And I'm very interested what you guys. I guess the questions are not having a vote. Did she have the right idea of what to do initially? Did she make a mistake, or did she do the right thing by telling Cedric? And I guess also just like, should she have just played it a different way entirely with her general plan? And I don't know if I have my thoughts, but I want to let you guys start. So,
thank you.
She had the right idea. She made the mistake in telling Ced. She went home. She had the right idea with the keeping them split. Then she, at the 9th hour, said, "You know what? I'm gonna do premature damage control by talking to Ced before we vote." Something happens in that 9th hour, and now she's on Ponderosa.
Two things I want to say, right? Because when it came to Justin, I was like, if Justin would have only told Ced, like, it would have made Ced believe him a little more. However, I still stand 10 toes down on that. I think what Bianca's a little different is because, like, you don't have that organic relationship from the beginning. So I think Bianca was absolutely right in how she was playing it. Shit, have them split the votes, have the two people name that's up, and go. I think, and also Bianca is a queen. Bianca is a rose. A rose has thorns. We love her. Like, you roll the dice, and that's what you have to do if you want to win Survivor. Sometimes you roll the dice and you get snake eyes, and then sometimes you get jackpot. So I think my one criticism, and not really a criticism, is that, like, somewhat what Wendell said, you start thinking beyond the vote, right? Like, and where Bianca was like, okay, if it comes out that they didn't know, I'll have to deal with that, instead of being like, let me just get there and deal with it, right? Like, she started kind of like, and in this moment, it's like, girl, lock in. And which I think she had the right idea of splitting them, because it would have worked out in her favor. But, and this is the thing about Survivor, like, you want to be 10 steps ahead. You want to know what your person is doing. You want to perceive how they are going to move. But then also, it's like that same thing of, like, you need to be locked and loaded, and you need to stay present, because if you get too many steps ahead, it might come to get you. But then if you're not thinking too far ahead, then it's gonna come to get you. Like, so it's like, it's this catch-22. So
yeah,
but
okay. So I generally agree with where you guys are at. Yeah, I like how you described it as like that premature damage control. Now, of all situations, I do see where Bianca's coming from. She feels like she's made a good relationship with Cedric. And at this point, her number one has just been voted out. She wants to go into the merge, building some trust. And doing this is obviously an olive branch to build trust, rather than basically pulling one over on everybody in the tribe just to get through this tribal. Granted, you can probably anticipate a merge coming. Getting through this tribal is the number one priority with a merge on the horizon. But I do worry for her, and I feel like she probably felt like this. If she does get through this tribal and burn some bridges, she doesn't have a lot going into the merge. And now, Obviously, things can change, avenues can open up, but I don't mind her being like, for the longevity of my game, maybe I have to build some currency. But obviously, she sort of sacrificed her short-term odds for the sake of that. And so I agree with you guys that I don't think it was bad of her, but I think when you know that you have a plan that's really going to limit your risk right now, right before the merge, you kind of just got to stick to that. Don't do any funny stuff. Maybe if it was earlier in the pre-merge, maybe cue Cedric in, because it's like he's either not going to trust me now or he's not going to trust me after I turn my back on him. But I got to like try to win him over. What I will say is I have a proposed. I feel like I liked her plan before, but I think I have some tweaks that I think would have really done everything for her. I think the biggest thing is that her plan of splitting them, tying them, whatever, obviously generally keeps her safe unless they go to rocks. Then she has a 1/3 chance of drawing the wrong rock. I don't even know if they get to rocks. Maybe someone flips on the revote. We could talk about that later. I think rather than go to Cedric and say, hey, I don't have a vote. Like, can you vote with me? Like, I don't want this to tie. Go to Cedric as if you have a vote and say, hey, Cedric, I think I'm going with Mitch and Chrissy, and I want to work with you and I want to clue you in. But just so you know, it's going to be a 3-2 vote and I'm voting for Saie. So you can either come on board and vote unanimously and we can build a bond, or you're going to be in the two. You're going to be in the 2 against the 3. And like, Cedric, I want to work with you. Then I think Cedric's like, damn, we're screwed. It looks like Saie's going home. Maybe Cedric throws his vote on Saie, and then no one's ever going to be the wiser that Bianca didn't have a vote, because then it's a 3-1 vote. Or it would have been a 4-1 vote if Bianca has her vote, but only 3 votes are getting read regardless. So then you put a little pressure on Cedric, who we can see is pressurable. And then, but even if Ced's like, nah, I gotta stick with Saie, you could be like, that's fine, I respect that. Like, it is what it is. And then it's 2-2, and then you don't have any votes on you, and then you could play it from there. But you're not going home unless you draw a rock. And to be honest with you, I feel like in that seat, in Bianca's position, the only people deciding are either Mitch and Cedric, and they both feel like one of them would be like, you know what, we're about to merge tomorrow. I'm not drawing a rock. And I think that Bianca gets through it. Then you'd be like, yo, I had to do what I had to do. Like, it just is what it is. We're going to the merge, clean slate. She's got 8 other people coming to the merge that she could work with, 9 other people. Then I think that putting that little pressure on it, and act like you're cluing him in, have some confidence, rather than being like, Cedric, please, like, I've been lying to you, but please, Cedric, like, do this. I think that would have been the better route to go. Would you guys agree?
I think that's a smooth play, Jack, to just tell her, yeah, it's for her to just act like she got it and tell him where I think that's smooth.
Yeah. And even if they have something like an idol or whatever, I think Bianca being like, Cedric, like, look, I want to work with you, but I don't know about Saie. You clue him in. Even if they have an idol, he tells Saie to play her idol. I think the votes still go on Chrissy, right? Like, they probably don't flip them on Bianca just because Bianca told Cedric that she's going the other way out of an effort to build a connection. And yeah, I just think that's the play. Brice, would you agree? Disagree?
That is smart. I still feel like it's a bit risky, and
it is.
Again, it's Monday morning quarterbacking, right? Seeing how Cedric reacted to this information, like, I'm not 100% sure, but no, that sounds smart, because it still kind of leaves Cedric in the decision of like, you gonna flip or you gonna work with us. Again, while you were talking, I was thinking like, I might just stick down the middle and let them split the votes. And then when we get back to tribe, when I'm back in the tribe and they're like, what happened? I'm like, somebody blocked my vote. I got in the booth and they blocked my vote.
When they do split the vote, then it becomes very awkward one of like, now I think there's also a world where they split the vote and maybe, so before I get into this, they split the vote, you have more of a chance of drawing rocks. Whereas if you just clue in Cedric and maybe he flips, you're not drawing rocks, and no one's ever even going to know that you lied. So that would be nice.
No,
obviously, if Cedric sticks to his guns, then you're in a little bit more hot water when you come back to camp. but at least you're going back to camp. But I do agree with Bianca of it's like, okay, if I get through this in a duplicitous way, I'm going to be in hot water. Let me try for the longevity of my game to do a little premature damage control. And it just so happens it doesn't work. But what I will say in the instance of a tie, I also was thinking could be very interesting if Bianca turns to like a Cedric and you're like, yo, I heard Saie lost her vote or whatever. So you basically, Bianca could posture like, I did have my vote and I'm going to flip my vote on the revote. So you should flip your vote too, to get them to flip their vote. Because I think in the moment, clearly we've seen Cedric on some of these revote situations with the Justin Tribal. It gets confusing. And so I think if you act like, oh, I voted with you, but now I'm about to flip mine, maybe they flip theirs too. But maybe Cedric does it because clearly we've seen he just say, and then he flips it when it's time to discuss. But whatever that might, I think Bianca had options. And I think ultimately it seems like we agree that blowing up her spot just put her, like we get where she was coming from, but it just put her in more jeopardy right then and there than she needed to be.
Yeah. And then we didn't get to see how, like, again, with the editing, we didn't get to see what's said and Chrissy. Like, I would have loved to see how that kind of worked out.
Can I say, I don't know if I should say this. I heard that maybe,
If you're saying what I think you're about to say, we might want to just talk about it off the pod.
Okay.
Okay.
All I will say differently is that Bianca, I listened to Bianca's exit interview. She said that this conversation was very last minute and that she watched Cedric like a hawk until Tribal and that she did not see any conversation unfold. So I don't know if this was like a wink and a nod at Tribal or whatever, but it would be interesting. And maybe it'll be in the next time on Survivor where this plan was devised. The last thing I wanted to talk about real quick regarding all this is, from Chrissy's point, is this a good move?
It was said, not telling Mitch.
But y'all not that close anyway.
Letting
we don't know for sure. Also, that Mitch didn't know, but I don't know how it seems like maybe Mitch probably didn't know, but like maybe he did. I
think because I think with very almost minimal damage control, I think Chrissy's in a fine, if not better spot.
So the only thing I'll say to that is, I think Chrissy's pretty old school. She probably didn't like to hear that Bianca was lying. And we saw her talking about, oh, Lagi has more people, like we got to take them out. So I understand why. But I think on paper, it seems like Chrissy doesn't really get along with Saie. Right. And Chrissy got along pretty well with Bianca. So I really just think Chrissy should have just voted for Saie. And there's also this world where now, like, there's a world where Cedric could have been lying to get Chrissy to split her vote, and then they vote out Chrissy. So I think if Chrissy just sticks with Mitch, it's going to be at least 2-2. And if Bianca has her vote, then it's going to be 3-2. So Chrissy put herself in a really, now I think Cedric, and we said this about Cedric's decision to split his vote. Cedric and Chrissy seem like pretty straight shooters. Like their word seems pretty good. But they both had a lot of trust in each other to just deviate their vote. Because if, like I said, I think Chrissy should have just voted for Saie and gotten out the person that you feel like you can't work with. Whereas Bianca has shown a lot of potential as a decent ally.
But Chrissy already initially said what her reservation for Bianca was initially, because if she's coming from that strong tribe. And so again, it just weakens that tribe even more. She now has this ally in Cedric. She also has her original tribe to go to. So I think I agree with Wendell. I think she might be in just a fine position. And it's like, if everyone says they can't get along with Saie as much, then it's like Saie is still around and still a potential vote for other people. So I think that it really does put her in a really good position. But I will say that
I don't know. I disagree a little bit.
I mean, I guess we could listen. That's the thing of the Purple Pants podcast.
Yeah.
You stand on your business. But one thing is for sure, we'll see how it all unfolds next week with episode 6, because I think that with the merge approaching or the merge being here, we are going to have a lot to discuss next week. Jackery, I can't thank you enough for coming and staying 10 toes down like you always do.
Yeah.
When DZ, I don't know what you're doing with that Vaseline.
Bryce said, I got to wrap this. We were going. Bryce like, let me wrap it up. Yeah.
I think, listen, I think this is a great episode. I am excited to see what happens next week. As always, we appreciate the Jack Shack for showing up, the Wendens for being here. But no, this has been your Survivor News covering Survivor Season 48, Episode 5. We'll see you next week. Chicago, get ready because the baby boys are coming.
It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.